Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us on the news briefing this Wednesday, May 20th. Well, our weather is heating up, and we are certainly seeing fires in other parts of the state. So this is a good time to talk about our current fire risk and danger in Monterey County. We also are going to talk about a special CAL FIRE grant program that offers some resilience grants to local agency. And for all of that, we're very pleased to have our colleague, Josh Silveira from CAL FIRE to talk about that. Hi, Josh. Thanks for being here.
Sorry about that. Technical difficulties.
Gotcha.
So it's funny that you said that we had fire danger around the area. I guess it's not really funny. We currently are engaged in a wildfire in South Monterey County off of Arroyo Seco Road in the area of Sycamore Flat. We have a full CAL FIRE response there, as well as our local government partners requested a local Type 3 strike team, just because we've moved so many resources down to Southern California, into Ventura, Kern, and Santa Barbara counties over the last couple of days. And our backfill resources from Northern California are trickling in as we speak. So the fire danger is here. We're seeing it every day. We're getting starts of some sort. We're so far been very successful in engaging these fires where they're small, keeping them small. We've had a couple get over 10 acres, but for the most part, we're doing our best, and we're meeting that intent of keeping 95% of our fires at 10 acres or less here in the unit. Kind of to touch on that grant program that you talked about, CAL FIRE did release current grant applications for $30 million for fuels reduction. The initial concept of the project needs to be submitted by June 30th for review. From there, once they're reviewed, if projects are selected to move forward or continue moving forward, they'll move into phase 2, and they'll be vetted out a little bit differently there as to look at size and scope, how it's going to affect the fire plan locally and regionally, and what the benefit to the ecosystem and such is there. For folks looking to apply for those grants, they can visit CAL FIRE and go through the grant selection process there, and kind of get a little bit more in-depth view of what that looks like, and if the projects that local fire-wise communities or fire safe councils have on their agenda, if they fit into that criteria.
Josh, I'm hoping you could talk a little bit more about who should apply for these grants, because there's a lot of money there and a lot of great things can be done, but they're really designed for entities that are going to look at resilience and fire hardening, in a community-wide basis.
Yeah, the grant program isn't aimed at the individual homeowner. It is aimed at fire-wise communities, homeowners associations, things that are going to help with our fuels reduction region wide, and it's a scalable project. If we could tie it into one of our existing fuels projects, that'd be great. But really, it is, like you said, it's aimed at those fire-wise communities, homeowners associations, and fire safe councils that are going to be doing the resiliency work and fuels mitigation in and around those communities, and not just an individual property or parcel.
Thank you for that. And then just to jump back to the fire risk time, we're heading into warm weather. It's going to be quite a while before we get a cool down in our area. We're seeing other fires that are, getting much larger in scope in other parts of the state. This is just a great time to remind people, little actions matter when it comes to preventing something that could get out of control.
Absolutely. I mean, we stress it year round that everybody should be ready. Home hardening isn't just, when we see these unseasonably warm temperatures and dry temperatures. It really needs to be a year round priority. Keeping those weeds down, changing your landscape to those non-combustible materials, having a go bag ready, understanding what evacuation zones you're in. all of that applies year round. It's these the peak fire season, if you will, that we really need to have those things implemented, those safeguards in place, and really just be prepared for that evacuation. It should be more reactive at this point. All of the proactive approach to this should have been done already when the grasses were greener and we had that ability to really mitigate those fine dead fuels in and around homes.
And so we've got a holiday weekend coming up this weekend. People are out camping, hiking, being in the great outdoors. What could you advise to people if you're going to be out, out and about with the current fire fuel dry levels? What are things not to do when you're out there?
Couple things, they kind of seem basic and like they really shouldn't be worth mentioning, but we typically see these as common starts for fires. So the big one is if you are towing a camping trailer or any type of trailer, make sure that you have your chains up, connected appropriately, not dragging, creating sparks. If you are barbecuing, make sure that you are barbecuing within either a barbecue or some sort of improved fire ring or fire pit at your camp areas. Make sure you discard of any ashes appropriately. It's even more beneficial if you could just put those ashes or charcoal briquettes out. As people want to venture out and enjoy the great outdoors here in Monterey County, we also want them to be prepared for all of the emergencies, not just the wildfire. If you're going to go hiking in Big Sur, make sure you're prepared with plenty of water, sustainment, whether it's, power bars, whatever it is, whatever you need to fuel yourself and your party for that hike. Make sure you're taking those things with you. Make sure other people know of your plan. Is this going to be a 2-hour hike and I should be back at my campsite? Is this going to be an overnight type hike? And check in so that we can be ahead of the power curve in the event that somebody does go missing, gets injured on their hike. We want to be alerted to it as soon as possible, not 3 days down the road when your loved one didn't make it back from their hike. So on top of just the general understanding of what our forecast holds here for weather, it's looking at it beyond the fire safety piece of it and just be prepared for any type of emergency while you're out.
Well, and there have been some notable rescues recently, so being prepared is never a bad thing. You don't want to have to be on the news because they found you, right?
Exactly. We have such a beautiful area to recreate in. We understand why we have lots of visitors come to Monterey County. Between the Pinnacles, Big Sur, Sobranes, the amazing coastline we have. It's an amazing place to recreate. We just encourage everybody to be prepared and be realistic with what you plan to do on these really nice holiday weekends. Don't go out and do a 15-mile hike with one 12-ounce bottle of water and think that's sufficient to make it back to your car safely.
Always good advice. And thank you, Josh, very much for being here to talk about those tips and all the other fire safe tips. And enjoy your day in South County.
Thank you, ma'am.
See you next time.
Bye.
Well, as we mentioned, the Memorial Day holiday weekend is coming up, and part of your plans for the weekend should involve taking part in activities that mark what Memorial Day is all about. You may gather with your family and friends. It's a tradition, but remember, Memorial Day is about honoring our fallen service members. So for that, we're very pleased to have Jack Murphy, our Military and Veterans Affairs Officer, to talk about the meaning of Memorial Day, but also where people can go to get that real Memorial Day experience. Hi, Jack.
Hi, Maya, and hello, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity to share about some of the events that are happening here in Monterey and San Benito County, and my screen's kind of going dark there. So I appreciate the introduction. And then also, I want to follow up a little bit on the words Josh shared about CAL FIRE. It's a beautiful place that we live in, and there's so many activities. And this holiday weekend is a really busy weekend, but I think it's very important that we don't lose sight on what this holiday is about. So I'm going to spend a little bit of time on that. I'm going to go ahead and share a screen so that folks can see some of the events that we've got going on here. Let's see here. I hope that is working now. Sorry for the slow technical stuff. All right.
It's
So
thinking.
it's thinking. Well, it's working on my end here. I'll go ahead and continue on while it's
All right.
doing whatever it's supposed to be doing. So as Maya mentioned, I'm Jack Murphy, the Director of the Military and Veterans Affairs Office. I'm the County Services Officer for both Monterey and San Benito counties. What our office does, just to start off, in case folks aren't familiar, our office provides assistance with VA claims, benefits, survivors benefits, educational benefits, really any type of entitlement at the county, state, and federal level for both Monterey and San Benito County. We support about 19,000 veterans and 6,000 active service members and their families across both counties. We are the only accredited agency providing support to Monterey and San Benito counties for the purposes of Department of Veterans Claims. It is a free service. I want to stress that it's a free service. We're more than happy to help. Dollars and numbers get people's attention. So very briefly here, in the last fiscal year, we served 3,358 unique veterans, filed over 5,700 claims on their behalf, and we were able to get back 2,101 VA disability compensation awards, which totaled over $21.5 million of new and recurring contributions to Monterey and San Benito County veterans. Those are financial contributions, compensation for disabilities and whatnot, but it also entitles the recipient to health care, to burial benefits, educational benefits, and all sorts of other intangibles. So that's what our office does. Now, a little bit about Memorial Day. This is a personal thing for me. Memorial Day is, I'll tell you what it's not. Memorial Day is not the day of mattress sales. It is not the day of eat as many ribs as you can, and it is not a day off of school. Memorial Day is the one day that our entire country takes pause to remember our fallen, our service members who made the ultimate sacrifice for our values, for our lifestyle, for our freedom. Here in the Central Coast area, we have a long history with the military, starting with Fort Ord, the Presidio of Monterey, the Naval Support Activity, and all of its tenant organizations down in South County, Fort Hunter Liggett. We also have a number of armories that serve both the Reserve and our National Guard, a very long history of service within the military community here on the Central Coast. Memorial Day is the day for our counties, respectively, to reflect on the sacrifices that our fallen service members have made. It is a time for us to remember their selflessness, and in modern day, today, contemporary times, it's an opportunity for us to reach out to the friends and the family of those service members who've fallen, and comfort them and support them. Again, it is a wonderful holiday. A lot of people go out and have a great time, but it is also what it's meant as a day to honor and recognize our fallen, first and foremost. Not that I don't want to discourage folks from having fun, but I want to encourage people and remind people of what the true purpose and meaning of Memorial Day is. I want to start off by talking about a really unique, significant event that is very, very much related to Memorial Day. On Friday, this upcoming Friday, the 22nd of May at 2 o'clock, there will be a repatriation and internment ceremony for one of our local fallen service members, Staff Sergeant Carl Abbott, of the Salinas Abbott family. He was a member of the Charlie Company 194th Tank Battalion, which was a very heavily it was a tank battalion, a military organization called up during World War II, almost exclusively made up of Salinas men. 105 of 114 came from Salinas. The unit fought very bravely during World War II in the Philippine campaign, and unfortunately, due to some tactical actions, Staff Sergeant Abbott was taken as a prisoner of war by the Japanese Army in April 1942. He was forced to uh, march during the Bataan Death March, and then ultimately held as a prisoner of war in a prison camp where he passed away on October 3rd, 1942. He and 7 other service members, POWs, were put into a mass grave that had since been exhumed and reinterned a number of different times. But ultimately, the Defense POW MIA Accounting Agency in 2019 was able to exhume those remains. It took them a number of years to identify the service members, but we're pleased to say that on January 5th of this year, they positively identified one set of remains as being those of Staff Sergeant Carl Abbott. So he is being repatriated to the San Jose airport from the Philippines. There will be a long motorcade bringing Staff Sergeant Abbott's remains down here to Salinas, where a local group of veterans is going to be escorting him from the Salinas airport to the Garden of Memories Cemetery, and we'll be doing a repatriation and interment ceremony there. That's taking place again Friday, 22 May at 2 p.m. at the Gardens of Memories Cemetery in Salinas. Other events that are taking place throughout the area here at the peninsula on Memorial Day proper, Castroville is going to be working in conjunction with the cemetery at Moss Landing. They'll do their annual Castroville Avenue of Flag ceremony. They'll be doing a public observation of the holiday there as well. That'll be taking place along the Avenue of the Flags from 10 to noon. At 10:30, down at the Coast Guard Pier, the Coast Guard Jetty in Monterey, the Navy Auxiliary is going to be doing its Memorial Day wreath laying. If anyone's interested in having a wreath memorialized for a veteran or a fallen service member, they're able to do so by attaching a note during the ceremony there. That is a very poignant observation. Later on during that morning, the American Legion Post 694 will be holding its observation here in Marina. That same time, American Legion Post 521 will be doing a ceremony at Devendorf Park in Carmel by the Sea at 11 o'clock. And then following that event, they'll be holding an open house at the American Legion Post there in Carmel. The larger or main event taking place on Memorial Day here on the peninsula will be the Central Coast Veterans Cemetery Memorial Day observation. That'll be here at 11 o'clock at the Central Coast Veterans Cemetery in Seaside. In Salinas, there's a number of events. Most of them are being sponsored by the American Legion Post 31, but I'll start off with an early morning event that is being sponsored by Hartnell College. The student veteran group is going to be conducting its annual road march from the Hartnell campus. They'll start out in front of the nursing building. They'll go along Alisal to South Davis. They'll go continue on by foot up Reservation, up those hills on Reservation Road, onto Inner Garrison, and ultimately finish at the Central Coast Veterans Cemetery. They're going to be starting off at 4 in the morning. They should finish around 10:30 or so. So if you're traveling along any of those roads, South Davis, Reservation, Inner Garrison, be on the lookout for a group of veterans and family members and supporters. Please, give them a wide berth, but also give them a lot of support. This is something that they do every year to honor our fallen, to include some that were Hartnell students. American Legion Post 31, as I mentioned earlier, is going to be doing a number of different events. They'll start off 7 in the morning at the Garden of Memory Cemetery. for between 7 and 10. They're asking for anyone who's interested in volunteering to help them place flags at all the headstones of our fallen. They could use some assistance with that. Following the flag emplacements, they'll be doing a Memorial Day observation there at the Garden of Memory Cemetery. That'll be taking place at 10 o'clock. Further on up the road at the Salinas Vietnam Veterans Memorial, they'll hold their annual Vietnam Veterans Observance at 11 o'clock. And then there'll be a observance being put on by the American Legion Auxiliary at the Rose Garden at Central Park at 1 o'clock. If anyone's interested in helping American Legion Post 31, the point of contact there is Steve, and his number is 831-682-3688. Events taking place in San Benito County and in Hollister, starting off on Sunday, so the day prior to Memorial Day, at 2 different cemeteries. The Veterans of Foreign Wars Post 9242 is asking for volunteers to come and place flags at the Independent Order of Oddfellows Cemetery, and then also at the Calvary Cemetery, starting on Sunday at 10 o'clock in the morning. The following day, Memorial Day, there'll be an observance at the Independent Order of Oddfellows Cemetery at 9 in the morning. Following that, a Memorial Day observance at the Calvary Cemetery at 10 in the morning. And then lastly, at the beautiful Veterans Memorial Building in downtown Hollister, there'll be the annual Memorial Day observance taking place at 11 o'clock. Anyone interested in assisting the Veteran of Foreign War post with emplacing those flags can contact Ryan Grimes at 831-637-6015. That is all I have for Memorial Day events taking place. I believe there may be some in South County, in Greenfield, Soledad, King City. However, those organizations didn't provide me with any events that are taking place. But you can always reach out to our office on Fridays in case someone does respond. Again, I hope everyone has a very safe Memorial Day, has a lot of fun on Memorial Day, but importantly, don't lose sight of what Memorial Day is. It's an opportunity to honor and reflect and remember our fallen. And then if anyone has any questions or comments for me, you can reach out at the contact information there, or you can ask right now. So thank you.
Thank you, and thanks for running through everything that you have, because there really is something for everybody on Memorial Day. I do want to ask you more about your thoughts about what we're seeing for the repatriation of this gentleman from World War II is very meaningful when it comes to Memorial Day, because it just shows the length and of time, the length of effort that we'll go through to bring our soldiers home, and the value that we place on their service to appropriately intern them back with their families. This gentleman died in 1942, and yet the effort was still made in 2000. Here we are in 2026. We're going to bring him home where he belongs. It's very meaningful.
Yeah, it is. It is. We did one last year. I don't know if you recall, here in Seaside for a Navy sailor who was a crew member on an aircraft that was lost in the same campaign, actually, in the Philippine campaign. Yes, our nation will go to extreme lengths to recover our fallen. And we will always honor our missing in action. We will do everything we can to find them. Most recently, when we had an aviator, essentially, he was evading in Iran recently. The Department of Defense went to extreme lengths to recover that service member. That is something that is central to our tenets and values and mission, really, within our individual services, to never leave anyone behind. And if circumstance being where someone is taken captive or is killed in action on a battlefield someplace, that we will never, ever give up trying to repatriate that service member or the remains of that service member. People hear a lot of stories about Vietnam because that is, one of the most recent conflicts where we had, a good number, unfortunately, of missing in action and prisoners of war. But as you highlight, going back to World War II and even World War I remains being found in Europe. Our nation, the United States, will go to tremendous lengths to bring home our citizens and bring home our service members who made that ultimate sacrifice. It's not, we're not proud to be having to do these all the time, but it's something we do out of necessity to honor them. Last week we did an internment ceremony for 7 veterans. It's who we are. It's what we do. It's in our blood to honor our veterans and honor our fallen.
Thank you so much, Jack, for sharing more about that and your thoughts on that, and then the overall mission. And if we've got folks in South County who are listening, let us know about events down there, and we'll share them with you.
Yeah, happy. Reach out to me, and I'm happy to distribute that as wide as I can.
Thanks very much, Jack, for joining us today.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Well, the Department of Social Services One Stop Community Center has many resources to offer residents all year round, but one day out of the year, they take all those resources from inside, they take them outside, and they bring in some collaborative partners, and they do a fantastic open house and resource fair. And so we're very pleased to have Marleen Bush from the Department of Social Services to talk about this fantastic event. Hi, Marleen.
Hi, Maya. Thank you so much for allowing me the opportunity to share information about our annual open house and resource fair. This is our 5th year, and it is on June 12th from 1 to 3 p.m. at the One Stop Community Center in Salinas. The address is 730 LaGuardia Street, once again in Salinas. And this is a wonderful event that we're very, very proud of, and it's an opportunity to bring together the community and connecting families to many services available through the county, nonprofit, and other community organizations. And what really makes our event special is our multi-generational approach. We're able to support the entire family at our event. We're connecting parents, children, older adults, people with disabilities, family caregivers, all in one welcoming location. For example, families can learn about employment services, family caregiver support services, community benefits, education programs, children's services, child care support, legal assistance, nutritious meals for older adults, and many, many, many more community services, again, offered in one location. We want to help families to navigate our services, and our goal is to make the access to all of the services available in our community, in particular our county, welcoming and very collaborative. So thank you very much, Maya.
Thank you. And so remind people where this is going to be, because if people aren't familiar with the One Stop, well, they should be. But if they're not familiar, this is over off of Airport Road, kind of around the little loop that goes on back there. And there's a lot of space, and you'd be surprised how many tents and vendors that you can get into that space for this event.
Yes, once again, it's at the One Stop Career Center, or Community Center. It was formerly the One Stop Community Center, for those of you that were aware, where the old Employment Development Department office was located for many years. So if you find your way to the Salinas Airport, we're right off of Moffett into LaGuardia. Let's see, our event has grown over the years, and each year turnout increases. Last year we had over 400 attendees, and just as a call to action and to entice people to attend, the first 400 families will actually get a gift card. Gas. You'll get a gas gift card for the first 400 families that stand in line. Free food is available to all the attendees. We have free shave ice, and that seems to be a crowd favorite. That's always the longest line. We have games for all ages, children, the senior popular, older adults. Refreshments, you name it, we have it. We even have a petting booth We had pets featured last year, and they're going to be joining us again this year. And I should also add that the main host of our annual event is the Department of Social Services, and its two branches, including CalWorks Employment Services and Aging and Adult Services, along with our core partners, including the Military and Veterans Affairs Office, Behavioral Health, another core partner located here at the One Stop, and many other partners. And I should also add that thanks to Goodwill Central Coast, they are the sponsors of the gift cards this year. So, and if I may, Maya, could I share my screen so that people know where to find it? Actually, on social media?
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay. So once again, this is hosted by the County of Monterey Department of Social Services. If you want to follow us on Instagram to learn more, we're at Monterey County DSS. And here you can see our flyer that features all of the great things that are going to be happening at our event. Raffle prizes. This is a big one. We're probably going to be calling it raffle prizes every 5 minutes because we're receiving so many gifts from our exhibitor attendees. We have over 50 service providers that are going to be featured. When we first had this event, we had 15. It's grown to be so popular that we have actually 50, and we're taking on a waiting list for others that are interested. Again, free food, refreshments, games, and more. And for the first 400 families who attend, you'll get a free gift gas card, and that's something that we like to do every year. It's free. Family friendly. Once again, it's on Friday, June 12th from 1 to 3 at 730 LaGuardia Street in Salinas. These are the core partners hosting. And once again, follow us on social media. So this is our Instagram account to DSS. And I also want to take your attention to the county's Facebook account where you can see where the flyer is being featured there as well. If you want to learn more about our event and all of the other great programs and services that our department offers, please follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Thank you very much.
And thank you. And no harm in enticing people to find out about good information with a little shaved ice and some snacks. But for people that don't know what the community center does, this is a great way for them to come and find out. People may think, well, there's really nothing there for me. I'm not really sure what I need. This is a way for people who may be looking for work, may not know about services. They think they might be eligible for some services, but they're just not sure. This is a great way to find out what help might be there for people who genuinely need some support.
Yes, thank you for enhancing that, Maya. Yeah, our main purpose is really to bring together nonprofit and community-based organizations that provide low cost or free services to the community. And you don't necessarily have to already be a customer. This is all of our services, and the exhibitors that will be featured will be sharing information that would benefit the entire community. That's one of the reasons why we want to emphasize that it is a multi-generational approach that benefits all. Healthcare providers, family caregivers, educators. We actually have all of our local community colleges that are going to be there. We have Meals on Wheels. If you want to learn more about free meals to the older population, that's offered throughout 14 of our locations that our department helps to support. They're going to be featured. Meals on Wheels Monterey, Meals on Wheels Salinas Valley. We have, if you need any legal assistance, we have 2 nonprofit legal entities that will be there to provide free services if you want to learn more about their programs. There's over 50 service providers that are excited to participate. So look forward to having you. Again, it's free. It's open to the public. It's only 2 hours. So if you can carve out 2 hours out of the day. And we specifically chose the month of June because we knew that families would be out of school. So we wanted to accommodate all families when they're on summer break. And we're also going to have a U-Jam dance instructor out there. That's become quite popular. We dance in the parking lot with all of our vendors participating. So just please come in and enjoy and come check it out.
Thank you so much, Marleen, for being here to talk about this. It's such a great event. And see you there.
Okay. Thank you, Maya.
Thanks for joining us on the news briefing this week. Our next briefing is next week, and we'll